Hey everybody, my name is Blake Cadwell. I'm the co-founder at Soundly.com, and today is a very special day because it's the anniversary of the FDA's release of the new over-the-counter guidelines for hearing aids. And what I have with me here are just a few of the over-the-counter hearing aids that have been released in the last year. In this video, we're going to talk about these products, the state of the industry, and where things might be going from here. Let's get into it. If you're just hearing about over-the-counter hearing aids, let me give you a brief history. For about 40 years, hearing aids have been sold only through local clinics. So it's a prescription product. You go to a professional, either a hearing instrument specialist or an audiologist. They sell you the devices and they program them to your prescriptive targets based on your hearing loss. And that process has worked really well for most people, but some folks who are either price constrained or maybe live in rural areas, it's left them without good options. So in 2017, Senators Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Grassley decided to do something, and they wrote up a piece of legislation saying the FDA should create a new class of devices that would allow hearing aids to be sold over the counter. They put it to Congress, and Congress overwhelmingly agreed, and it got passed. So the FDA had, at that time in 2017, 3 years to write up the guidelines for what this new class of devices would look like. Unfortunately, as we all know, 2020 became a very confusing year, and the FDA had a lot bigger things on their agenda. So this piece of legislation never got tended to. Then in 2021, President Joe Biden signed an executive order redirecting the FDA to take this seriously and get the job done, write these new regulations. So fast forward to October 2022, or 1 year ago, the FDA finally got these guidelines out into the world and a new class of hearing devices was born.
Americans will soon be able to buy hearing aids over the counter without a doctor's exam or a prescription. The FDA cleared the way yesterday for people with mild to moderate hearing loss to buy the device online or in retail stores. That could happen as early as October. The relatively high cost of hearing aids is not covered by basic Medicare. Health experts say untreated hearing loss can add to depression and cognitive decline in older people.
The FDA's entire guidelines are hundreds of pages long and have lots of nuances and specifications, including how OTC devices should be registered, what they should call themselves, etc. But the biggest thing to know as a consumer is that these products pretty quickly became available in Walgreens and Walmart and sold online. Hey guys, just a quick note, if you're interested in learning more about any of these products or any of the other OTC products on the market, you can drop down to the comments below. We'll link our full reviews to all of the over-the-counter products along with our guide to the best over-the-counter products on the market right now. Of course, along with that new opportunity came a whole lot of different products, and I've got just a few of them here, some of the top products that have been released over the counter. They're typically self-fit through a smartphone app. Now, we've really spent the last year trialing and demoing every product we could get our hands on. To my count, there are about 20 that are sort of in the consideration set, and really maybe 5 or 10 that we'll talk about in more detail in this video. When I think about over-the-counter hearing aids, I think about them really in 3 groups. Now, they all share the characteristic that you can fit the devices yourself. You don't have to see a doctor. That's kind of the baseline. But then there are still different groups within the sort of over-the-counter set as it has come to life in the last year. So the first group is what I would call the premium set of over-the-counter hearing aids. These are devices that are probably a little bit more basic than your most premium options at a clinic, but they're still competitive. They're in that same space. So an example of this would be Sennheiser's new All Day Clear. Now, Sennheiser released this product in August of this year, so it's really just only a couple of months old. It builds off of the same base technology of Phonak products, which is one of the top prescription brands in the world. And as I listen to these devices, and I've spent time doing so, I really can't hear a ton of differences in how they're processing sound between Phonak Lumity and the All Day Clear product from Sennheiser. The big difference is that to program Sennheiser's hearing aids, you're using a smartphone app. You have a little bit less technical specifications, and you're not getting any support from a doctor. Still, Sennheiser is a very premium product. I consider Bose in this category. The Lexi B2 powered by Bose is a really strong hearing aid with fantastic fundamentals, and it allows streaming for iPhone. It has a great app that allows you to change your sound quality, and it does a pretty good job managing background noise. Another device that I would say is in the premium OTC set is Eargo. And the main reason that they sit in this set is because of their form factor. Now, Eargo comes in this slick case, but the big thing that people like about Eargo is that the device is totally invisible inside the ear. When I put this inside of my ear canal, really no one's going to notice that it's in there unless they're really looking straight down my ear canal. So this is an over-the-counter device, again, fit through your smartphone, and it fits very much in that premium set. Now, with prices on these devices, Sennheiser is about $1,400, Bose is about $1,000, and Eargo, the Eargo 7, is over $2,000. So these are not cheap products. They're really sitting in this kind of premium market, but you have the access to fit them in your own home and on your own time because they are over the counter. The next category of hearing aids is what I would consider the budget set. Devices in this set include brands like MD Hearing, which I think is a solid hearing aid if you only have $500 to spend. MD's hearing aids start at around $400 and you can go up a little bit from there. But essentially, they're pretty good at managing simple situations. If you need help in front of the TV, if you need help in quiet environments at home, these hearing aids can get the job done. Now, they're not quite as modern in their form factor and they don't have as many bells and whistles, but they can help you achieve simple hearing in simple situations. Another example of a budget option that's a little bit different is the Jabra Enhance Plus. This is an earbud style hearing aid that sits inside the ear. It looks a lot like an AirPod or an earbud of any kind. This product is about $800. What it really does well is manage situational hearing. You're not going to wear this for 12 hours a day like you might a premium hearing aid, but you can pop it in if you're struggling to hear the TV or if you're in a quiet setting at the end of the day with your partner and you don't want to ask them to raise their voice. So these are some budget options. There are a handful of others. What I've noticed is that at least as of today, the quality breakpoint really is around $500, maybe $500 or $600. Once you get down to products that are just a couple of $100s, I don't find as much value. This product is from Audien. It sells for either $100 or $200 depending on the model you get. And it comes in a nice recharge case. It sits inside the ear. But what I find is that it's just not quite as comfortable and it's unable to manage even basic amounts of background noise like a fan running or paper crinkling. Some folks do like Audien, but I tend to find that this is something I can't wear for more than 20 or 30 minutes. So I really do see that price point typically breaking around $400 or $500 to get something even decent that really works in even those simpler situations. The final category of over-the-counter hearing aids that I think about is what I would call a hybrid over-the-counter. And really the main brand that occupies this space is Jabra Enhance Select. So we talked about Jabra Enhance Plus, which is the earbud style. Jabra Enhance Select is an over the ear, inside the ear model of hearing aid. I'll show you what this looks like. It sits behind the ear and drops down inside the ear canal. Now, this technically can be purchased over the counter for around $1,200, but for a few extra $100, you can get a telehealth care package. So it's technically an over-the-counter hearing device, but it has care built into it, and that really turns it into this interesting hybrid where it's almost prescription, it gives you the benefits of prescription while still being technically over the counter. So I would expect more hearing aids will fit into this model in the future. So as we stand at the 1-year mark of over-the-counter hearing aids, where do I think all of this will go over time? The first thing I would say is I would imagine the technological capabilities of the most premium prescription devices and the devices that are sold over the counter will begin to blend. I think over the next few years, we'll see more over-the-counter devices like the Sennheiser All Day Clear that begin to look a whole lot like the premium prescription products. Maybe are built by the same companies with the same chipset and the same ability to manage background noise. My guess is that we'll see that merge begin to happen. What I don't think will change a whole lot is the importance of professionals in the process. Now, obviously, over-the-counter doesn't require you to go to a doctor in the first place. But I think what Jabra Enhance Select is doing is really interesting, where they allow you to buy the product, but then you add on professional care, which ultimately gives you that customization and personalization and also coaching that you might need to really have a successful outcome. I would imagine more and more companies will move towards models like that, where you buy the base product and you add on care and service. The thing that gets me excited about the move to over-the-counter hearing aids is the chance that this shift will really shake up the category and bring in new innovators. And we're already seeing that happen. You have brands like Sony and Sennheiser and Jabra all jumping into a category that 10 years ago didn't have any consumer technology brands. So that's a very positive thing. But I also imagine the startup entrepreneurs or the designers, the innovators that are possibly working on this problem in the background that we haven't heard of yet. And that gets me excited to watch this space for the next couple of years. One thing's for sure, I'm excited to watch this space for the next year and see where we stand 1 year from today. If you've tried over-the-counter hearing aids or you have specific questions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And I wish you the best in your research.